Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 9 Part 60 based on novel. So let's start. Tang Xinlian tilted her head slightly to the side, revealing her exquisite and beautiful sharp chin. Soon after, she looked towards Lin Dong, whose eyes were slightly narrowed as he stared in the direction that Hua Chen had disappeared in. She said, "Although you have a deep enmity with him, his first opponent will be me. I will not hand him over to you." Lin Dong withdrew his gaze and looked at Tang Xinlian. "I am not looking down on you. If you think that my words have hurt your pride, all I can do is apologize." Tang Xinlian's bright eyes did not avoid Lin Dong as she spoke in an earnest manner, that Hua Chen is no saint. Moreover, there will no friendly sparring during this competition but true life or death battles. Moreover, Master has said that we definitely cannot allow Hua Chen and Xu Xiu to obtain the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol. Hence, I will do everything I can to stop them. Tang Xinlian was aware that Lin Dong was quite strong. Although the latter was only at the perfect profound life stage, he was able to kill an initial profound death stage expert. However, Hua Chen and Xu Xiu had both long since stepped into the advanced profound death stage. Moreover, both of them were mysterious and unfathomable. They possessed numerous techniques and it would not be easy to deal them. Go ahead if you wish to fight first. Lin Dong smiled faintly. He did not argue with Tang Xinlian at such a time. He had no intention to obtain any glory. All he wished for was to complete Mo Luo's instructions and retrieve the Thunderbolt essence that originally belonged to him. If Tang Xinlian or Zhu Zi were able to finish off Hua Chen and Xu Xiu in this competition, it would save Lin Dong the trouble of doing so. Tang Xinlian stared at Lin Dong for a moment before a smile blossomed on her face. She glanced at Huang Ling's group behind them and said, "Let's go, Immeasurable Mountain is only a short distance away." Tang Xinlian did not delay any longer after her voice sounded. Her beautiful hair was swung as her enchanting body turned into a ray of red light that shot forth. Lin Dong led Mu Lingshan and followed closely behind. They did not meet any obstructions along the way. Within a short 10 minutes, Lin Dong could sense that the dense forest had started to withdraw as his view swiftly widened. Soon after, a towering mountain that pierced through the clouds and stood like a pillar that supported the sky entered his eyes. "So this is Immeasurable Mountain, huh?" Lin Dong's toes landed on a thick branch. He quickly raised his head and looked at the seemingly endless majestic mountain before him. Thick clouds lingered at the midsection of the mountain, causing one to be unable to clearly see its peak. However, through the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol within his body, Lin Dong was still able to detect a familiar power beckoning him from the peak of the mountain. It was the Thunderbolt essence extracted from the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol. At this moment, the foot of the mountain was already filled with people. Their eyes were full of excitement as they fixed their eyes upon this towering mountain. This was the final battleground. The appearance of Lin Dong's group immediately attracted several pairs of eyes. Of course, most of them paused on Tang Xinlian at the front. Fear and awe filled their eyes. "Ha ha, you are rather late." A soft laughter was transmitted over. Subsequently, a figure rushed over from nearby. It was the little elephant king Zhu Zi. "We met Hua Chen along the way and briefly exchanged blows," Tang Xinlian explained. "Oh." Zhu Zi's eyes hardened. "How is he?" "Very strong." A grave expression flashed across Tang Xinlian's face. She was clearly aware of just how powerful her attack was. However, it was easily dispelled by Hua Chen. Evidently, this person from the Eastern Xian region's Yuan Gate was quite powerful. Zhu Zi nodded slightly. Someone whom could be described as very strong by Tang Xinlian was likely extremely powerful. There are many strong individuals here. Lin Dong looked towards this area at the foot of the mountain as surprise flashed across his eyes. He could sense many strong presences in this place. Those who can arrive in this place without being eliminated all possess some skills. Although the rookie list does have its weight, it is unable to fully take into account all the young and powerful individuals in the chaotic demon sea. Some of these dark horses cannot be estimated. Zhu Zi said. Lin Dong nodded. He was about to speak when he felt cold aura emerge from within Mu Lingshan's body. Startled, he turned his head only to find that this little girl was staring at a certain spot in the distance with an exceptionally ugly expression. Lin Dong followed her line of sight, only to see two figures standing on a hill. One of them was well built and completely exposed both of his arms. His face had a thick and manly pair of eyebrows but had a rather evil look. A glowing symbol was present on his brow which had the appearance of a ferocious blood shark. Beside the man with exposed arms was a delicate and petite young lady. She was rather pretty but there was a haughtiness that could not be hidden on her face. The auras of this duo were quite powerful. This was especially the case for the man with the evil look. Even if his strength had not reached the advanced profound death stage, it was likely extremely close. The two of them had also detected Lin Dong's gaze and quickly looked over. That bare-armed man glanced at Lin Dong before turning towards Mu Lingshan by his side. Soon after, his mouth parted into a grin that was filled with a sinisterly evil aura. The young lady, on the other hand, curled her mouth and had a look of disdain. "Who are they?" Lin Dong slightly frowned and asked. "Two bastards from the Blood Demon Shark clan." Mu Lingshan gnashed her teeth. Her tone was filled with fury. Clearly, she had a grudge with those two. So they are members of the Blood Demon Shark clan, Lin Dong suddenly understood. This clan had quite a deep enmity with the Immortal Sage Whale clan, and it was likely that Mu Lingshan had even met them in the past. From the looks of it, they were definitely not friends. That man is called Shou Li while that woman is called Shou Ling. They are direct disciples of the Blood Demon Shark clan and are also quite well known amongst the younger generation of the Blood Demon Shark clan. Tang Xinlian also turned her attention to the two in the distance and spoke. Lin Dong nodded. He could see quite a rich enmity from the eyes of those two. This kind of ill intent was likely directed at Mu Lingshan. Lin Dong gently rubbed Mu Lingshan's tiny head with his hand and smiled at her. Although that ill intent did not target him, Lin Dong would definitely not idly stand by the side and watch if those two planned to do anything to Mu Lingshan. Mu Lingshan nodded. Her large eyes glared viciously at the young lady as the corners of her mouth curled downwards, causing her to appear to be full of disdain. "Little girl, you are asking to die?" The young lady's small face became icy when she saw this. Her small hand clenched and bloodlight surged. It directly turned into a blood arrow that shot towards Mu Lingshan at lightning speed. Lin Dong's face became cold when he saw the viciousness of this young lady. He waved his sleeve and wind swept forth. It altered the direction of the blood arrow before it shot back at the young lady in an even more ruthless manner. Bang! The bare-armed man grabbed with his hand when the blood arrow appeared in front of the young lady, forcefully dispersing the force. Next, he lifted his head and stared at Lin Dong with a sinister expression. "You wish to die? Both of you are after all members of the Blood Demon Shark clan. How can you be so ill-mannered?" Lin Dong replied with a cold voice. The small face of the young lady had turned green from anger upon hearing this. At the same time, murderous intent gushed in the eyes of the bare-armed man while bloodlight surged on the surface of his body. The surrounding experts were startled by the sudden clash between the two parties. However, they did not speak. Both sides were not ordinary and it would be good if they ended up fighting each other. The 10 peaks of Immeasurable Mountain are about to open. Take the mountain seal first before settling other matters. Tang Xinlian softly said. Understood. Lin Dong slightly nodded. Light suddenly poured down from the majestic huge mountain not long after Tang Xinlian's voice sounded. After which, the clouds shook as 10 large peaks appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Light flickered on those peaks and it was possible to vaguely see a light seal. An uproar broke out at the foot of the mountain as the eyes of many turned red with excitement. Lin Dong, 1 peak per person. Whether anyone will be able to obtain a mountain seal will depend on your own ability. Tang Xinlian stared at the light seals on the peaks and said. Let's go. Tang Xinlian softly shouted as her body took the lead and charged forward. It directly shot towards one of the peaks. Many experts at the foot of the mountain also swept forth after Tang Xinlian moved. Immediately, rushing wind sounds appeared in a hurried fashion. Lingshan, why don't you choose a peak too? Lin Dong looked towards Mu Lingshan and said. Mu Lingshan excitedly nodded. After which, she hugged the life-death coffin cover and charged towards a peak. Lin Dong grinned upon seeing this. He also chose a peak and headed straight for it. Brother Shao Li, I will go and tear off that little girl's mouth. Shao Ling's face was frosty as she looked at Mu Lingshan, who had charged towards a peak, and said. Leave that fellow to me. I will make him pay the price for the words that he has said. The bare-armed man spoke in an eerie manner. Both of them exchanged a glance after they spoke. After which, they swiftly separated and rushed towards two peaks. Many experts swarmed upwards from the foot of the mountain, shattering the silence of immeasurable mountain. The final battle had finally arrived at this final battleground. Lin Dong's body flashed past at lightning speed, turning a flash of green light as it followed a mountain path and directly rushed towards the peak. Immeasurable mountain had 10 peaks. Every peak had 3 paths to the mountaintop. An intense battle was unavoidable if one wished to reach the peak through one of these 3 paths. Lin Dong dashed through the densely packed branches and leaves on the path up the mountain, like an agile monkey. Soon after, he lifted his head and saw several figures with powerful auras nearby. This group of experts who were rushing up the mountain also detected Lin Dong, who was rapidly approaching from behind. Green light flashed within Lin Dong's eyes. He clenched his hand and the lightning emperor scepter appeared. A lightning glow danced crazily as numerous bolts of lightning spread. Boom! Astonishing thunder resounded on the mountain path. Lightning flashed and a thin figure barbarically charged through the many obstructions in front of him. The entire place turned into a mess wherever his body passed. Lin Dong pushed the yuan power within his body to the limit. He understood that he must use his fastest speed to reach the peak in order to obtain the mountain seal and receive one of the 10 places to contend for the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol. This mountain path had undoubtedly become quite chaotic in the face of Lin Dong's barbaric manner. In the end, many experts actually attacked together, but they were still unable to block this wild beast like Lin Dong. A green ray of light dashed towards the peak at a shocking speed amidst loud rumbling noises. This bastard, he is just like a wild beast. Damn it, I have not even attacked, yet I end up suffering a kick from him. My face suffered a strike from him and even my nose has collapsed. Damn it, why don't we kill him together? This fellow is likely the strongest on this mountain path, right? How unlucky. We are actually on this path with him. That is not necessarily true. Wasn't there another bastard who charged past earlier? These 2 bastards. That Qin Yuan? Huh, I wonder just who is stronger when these 2 barbaric beasts clash. That green light shot forward as curses flew from behind. However, many people had helplessly given up at this moment. With Lin Dong present, they would likely be unable to reach the peak. Lin Dong completely ignored the curses from behind as his body flashed past with lightning speed. A long while later, he lifted his head to look at the peak, which was growing increasingly close as excitement rose in his eyes. He knew that there would similarly be other experts who had also taken the lead on the 2 other paths. Halt! Only I can take this mountain path. While these thoughts flashed in Lin Dong's mind, a thunderous roar was suddenly heard. Subsequently, a huge figure charged forward as a wave of powerful force blasted Lin Dong. Bang! Even before the force made contact with Lin Dong, the ground below crumbled as numerous cracks swiftly spread. Humph! This suddenly domineering attack caused a cold light to appear within Lin Dong's eyes. He tightly grasped the Lightning Emperor scepter but did not dodge. The scepter was swung and it powerfully clashed against the domineering force. Dong! A deafening sound echoed as wind swept outwards like a storm, flattening the dense forest below. Lin Dong's shoulders jerked as devouring power surged within his body and quickly eliminated the force that had invaded his body. Next, he lifted his head only to find the strong figure being pushed back. Finally, a foot stamped on a boulder which was turned into dust in an instant. What great strength! The sturdy figure stabilized his body as his expression changed. At this moment, Lin Dong was finally able to see that the person who had arrived had a bare upper body. His muscles seemed to pile up like swelling metal while power rippled under his skin. He wielded a metal hammer that was dozens of feet in size. This image was extremely stimulating to the eye. Sixth on the rookie list, giant spirit hammer Qin Yuan. Lin Dong's eyes slightly narrowed as he gazed at the large metal tower-like man. He had recognized this person in a glance. No wonder this person had such ferocious strength. The latter was definitely not an ordinary individual. Are you that Lin Dong? The huge metal tower-like man looked at Lin Dong as his expression slightly altered. Clearly, this person had also heard of Lin Dong. Friend, is it possible for you to give way? Lin Dong asked in a deep voice. He did not have the time to deal with this person. Won't I lose my chance if I let you pass? Qin Yuan's mouth parted as he chuckled. He swung the massive metal hammer in his hand. You should ask this metal hammer of mine if you wish to pass. Don't think I do not dare to touch you just because that little Miss Tang Xinlian is backing you. In that case, I will have to be a little impolite. A smile surfaced from the corners of Lin Dong's mouth as he slowly increased the strength of his grip on the lightning emperor scepter. Try me. Qin Yuan's voice was as loud as a bell as the metal hammer in his hands danced. Even the air itself exploded because of the swinging hammer. Bright green light frantically swept out from within Lin Dong's body. Many green dragon light tattoos rapidly rose along with a dragon roar. 1, 5, 10, 20, 30. A total of 30 green dragon light tattoos lingered around Lin Dong's body as a deep dragon roar spread. Even the air itself trembled at this moment, while a terrifying energy ripple slowly scattered. Qin Yuan looked at the 30 green dragon light tattoos around Lin Dong's body. His expression had finally become grave. Only at this moment did he understand that this Lin Dong did indeed possess a rather powerful strength that backed the swift rise of his reputation within the chaotic demon sea. I will finish you off in a single strike. A green dragon was entrenched deep within Lin Dong's eyes. He heartily laughed at the sky as his heroic spirit dashed into the clouds while his body, which was accompanied by 30 green dragon light tattoos, swiftly shot towards Qin Yuan. I shall see whether you have the ability to do so. Qin Yuan laughed in anger. Majestic Yuan power was unleashed to its limit at this moment, before he took a step forward. Raising the metal hammer with both hands, it came crashing down furiously like a god. Giant Spirit Sky Hammer. 1,000 feet large light hammer violently struck. After which, it was accompanied by a horrifying strength as it blasted the sky. In the end, it ruthlessly clashed with Lin Dong, who was charging forward, under several shocked gazes. Roar? A dragon roar and a loud sound spread in a deafening fashion. Everyone could feel this mountain shake violently as the two forces collided while many huge cracks spread rapidly like a spider web. Behind them, many pairs of eyes were focused on the point of collision where green light suddenly shot towards the sky. Soon after, they were stunned to see that the 1,000 feet large light hammer was actually blown away. Crack! The light hammer finally exploded and a black metal hammer powerlessly flew backwards. It smashed heavily onto the ground, causing the land to shake. Qin Yuan's body seemed to have suffered a heavy blow. A mouthful of blood was spat out as he shot backwards in a miserable fashion, causing a deep pit to be formed on the ground. Thank you for giving me this victory. Green light flickered in the sky as Lin Dong flashed and appeared while holding the lightning emperor scepter. He looked at the miserable Qin Yuan below and smiled faintly. Without further ado, his body moved and he charged towards the peak, leaving behind a series of gasps. Who could imagine that the 6th on the rookie list would actually be defeated by Lin Dong in a single move? Is this his true strength? Several people faced each other. They could see shocked expressions in the other party's eyes. The only ones on the rookie list who could do this were likely only those top 3 ferocious people. However, it seemed that another one of them had appeared. Lin Dong did not have the time to bother about those shocked gazes behind him. He raised his speed to the limit. Finally, his toes pressed against the ground as he soared upwards, shooting towards the mountain peak. Bang! However, just as Lin Dong was about to reach the peak, a low and muffled sound was transmitted into his ear. A miserable figure shot towards him from nearby. In the end, it smeared across the ground, forming a deep scar, before it stopped in front of Lin Dong. Cough. That miserable figure violently coughed, spitting out fresh blood. His appearance was exceptionally miserable. Qingting? Lin Dong gazed at this miserable figure and was startled. Soon after, a solemn expression rose in his eyes. This was because this person was the rookie list's fourth-ranked Qingting. Just which powerful individual was actually able to injure Qingting to such an extent? Lin Dong lifted his head and looked towards another path that led to the peak. Subsequently, his eyes focused on a bare-armed person whose body was wrapped in a blood-red light. There was a thickly evil aura in his eyes. This person was actually Sho Li from the Blood Demon Shark clan. To think that you are able to come to this place. It seems that you do have some ability. When Sho Li saw Lin Dong, he was initially startled before his mouth quickly parted into a smile. The smile was extremely sinister. However, your journey stops here. A bloodlight undulated on Sho Li's body and it was filled with a rich and bloody scent. At the moment, with a wicked smile on his face, he was staring at Lin Dong, who had just ascended to the peak. Meanwhile, the red glow in his eyes were filled with brutality. Towards someone who dared to attack them previously, he clearly possessed murderous intent towards him. Lin Dong also frowned slightly when he saw Sho Li, whose body was wrapped with a blood glow. He did not expect that this person would actually choose this peak as well. Moreover, even Qingting was defeated by him. Lin Dong was aware of how powerful Qingting was. Additionally, the latter was extremely quick. Based on Lin Dong's estimates, Qingting would definitely be able to obtain one of the 10 positions, if no accidents occurred. However, Qingting's journey to the peak came to an end because of Sho Li's presence. The fact that he could defeat Qingting proved how powerful Sho Li was. A member of the Blood Demon Shark clan, he indeed lived up to his reputation. Are you all right? Lin Dong lowered his head and asked Qingting. Qingting forcefully picked himself up from the ground. Wiping off the trace of blood on the corner of his lips, he looked at Lin Dong, who had hurried over. His expression was a little complicated as he shook his head and said, "There is something wrong with this fellow. Originally, we were quite evenly matched. However, his strength suddenly soared. Ignorant fool. This is my Blood Demon Shark clan's secret technique. It vaporizes the blood in my body to boost my strength. Although there are some long-term effects, it will be fine as long as I kill the both of you and absorb the essence blood in your bodies." Sho Li parted his mouth into a smile. His teeth gritted together and emitted a frightening cold glint. Sho Li twisted his neck. His bones emitted a clear cracking sound as he extended his finger and curled it towards Lin Dong. "Little fellow, didn't you act in a very arrogant fashion previously? Why don't you come and give it a try now?" His head turned towards another peak after his words sounded. He laughed in a strange fashion. It is likely that Sho Ling has also clashed with that little girl from the immortal Sage Whale clan by now. That little girl should wound up in a rather miserable state. A sharp cold glint flashed across Lin Dong's narrowed eyes after he heard this. He spoke softly, "You will be disappointed by the results." The young lady called Sho Ling was indeed quite powerful. In fact, it was likely that she possessed the qualifications to enter the top 10 of the rookie list. However, Mu Lingshan was not some soft specimen either, and even Lin Dong was unable to fully decipher the secrets within that little girl. Therefore, he did not believe that Sho Ling could easily defeat Mu Lingshan in a real fight. Is that so? Sho Li curled his mouth in disdain. He waved his hand and said, "Forget it, let's not talk about them. I want to claim your puny little life first. If that little girl managed to survive, I will throw your corpse at her. It is likely that her expression will be quite pleasant to look at. Brother Qingting, why don't you hand this opponent over to me?" Lin Dong softly said to Qingting. "I have already lost. Naturally, you will have to do the fighting. Be careful." Qingting nodded with a bitter smile. A ferocious expression flashed across his eyes as he spoke in a dense voice, "Cripple this bastard." "That is my plan." Lindong smiled at Qingting. His hand slowly tightened the grip on his lightning emperor scepter. Lightning light came pouring down a little at a time as a sizzling sound burst continuously. "Two homeless strays. None of you shall escape." Shao Li laughed in a dense manner. Red light suddenly surged within his eyes. He clenched his hand and it was possible to see a red-colored scale appeared on the surface of his body. Both his hands were curled before they transformed into two ferocious blood-bone blades. A cold light flowed over his bone blades and the space itself seemed to stir slightly. Shao Li was currently like a monster covered in scales. His scarlet eyes stared straight at Lindong. Suddenly, after releasing a strange laughter, his body flashed before a red beam cut through the air and shot straight towards Lindong. Blood-red blade lights directly tore through the air at this moment. It pierced towards Lindong's throat with an indescribable speed. Lightning glow surged on the Lightning Emperor scepter. It quickly transformed into countless shadows that shot forward and ruthlessly struck precisely onto the point where the two blade glows intersected. Metallic sound appeared before wild and violent gusts swept forward. The huge stones on the surrounding ground were struck by it and exploded into dust. Wild gales swept forth before a bloody light figure appeared behind Lindong in an instant. Shark teeth rip. Blood light spluttered forth like a thunderstorm. Every ray of blood light transformed into an extremely sharp shark tooth that was filled with a shocking sharpness. In fact, it was so sharp that even an advanced profound life stage expert had difficulty guarding against it. Shao Li was no kind-hearted individual and his attacks were merciless. Clearly, he was intending to kill them. Lightning barrier. Lindong's eyes sunk as he detected the shocking sharp wind from behind. Suddenly, he slammed the Lightning Emperor scepter in his hand heavily onto the ground. Soon after, bright lightning spread crazily before they transformed into a lightning barrier that protected him. Bang bang bang. The blood light ruthlessly smashed against the lightning barrier and a shocking thunder spread. Although such an attack caused countless ripples to appear on the lightning barrier, it was ultimately unable to break the barrier. Evidently, Lindong's offense and defense grew closer to perfection after he obtained the Lightning Emperor scepter. Ripples spread across the lightning barrier. At a certain moment, a cold glint flashed across Lindong's eyes. The Lightning Emperor scepter in his hand suddenly shot forward. It was like a lightning that tore through the night sky as it penetrated the lightning barrier and the countless bloody light attacks. Finally, it struck heavily against the phantom-like figure behind. Boom! A muffled thunder spread and the figure trembled intensely. The attacks in the sky disappeared as a figure took a couple of steps back. There was a lightning occasionally flashing over the body covered in blood light. A decent offense and defense, Shao Li smiled ferociously. He rubbed his chest, which had been struck by Lindong's Lightning Emperor scepter. That spot had turned charred back. However, after he wiped that spot with his hand, the charred spot disappeared. Instead, the blood-colored scales under it were emitting a firm and indestructible aura. Even though your scepter is quite powerful, it is unable to break my demon shark scale skin. Lindong's eyes narrowed as he looked at the strange layer of scale on Shao Li's body. A blood-red light continuously flickered mysteriously. At the moment of contact previously, Lindong could clearly sense that the enormous strength transferred onto Shao Li's body had been scattered and broken down by the layer of scale skin. That object was quite mysterious indeed. Lindong, that Shao Li's scale skin is a secret technique of the Blood Demon Shark clan. It is not a martial arts. Instead, it is formed from hundreds of millions of blood demon shark ants. Those ants are able to devour various kinds of energy and it is extremely difficult to break through. Qingting behind cried out. Previously, he had suffered tremendously because of this. That scale skin is actually a living creature? Lindong was secretly startled. No wonder he felt that this scale skin was exceptionally strange. It was actually made by gathering those so-called blood demon shark ants together. Your attacks are useless against me. However, my attacks can claim your puny lives. Shao Li laughed towards the sky. His body once again shot out before a sharp attack was unleashed, surrounding Lin Dong in the process. How can mediocre humans like you compare with members of my blood demon shark clan? Lin Dong's eyes were indifferent. He ignored Sholi's arrogant laughter as he also rushed forward and dodged Sholi's attack. The lightning emperor scepter in his hand drew a strange arc and once again smashed towards Sholi. Like I said, you are unable to hurt me as long as I have my demon shark scale skin. Sholi mocked upon seeing this. The force behind the scepter in Lin Dong's hand did not diminish. A cold smile was lifted on his face just as his scepter was about to strike onto Sholi's body. In that case, all I need to do is to break your shark skin. With your strength? Sholi ridiculed. Lin Dong's eyes were icy cold. A thought passed through his mind. One could see a strange palm-sized light formation suddenly appearing on the tip of the lightning emperor scepter. The formation rotated before a strange force suddenly erupted. A mysterious ray of light shot out from the light formation and struck against Sholi's chest. After the light ray reached its target, one could see the demon shark scale skin on Sholi's body emitting a miserable screech. Under the illumination from that ray of light, a fist-sized hole actually appeared on that tough and seemingly indestructible scale skin. In fact, it looked as though the scale skin was disintegrating. Without your scales, what are you? Lin Dong stared at a Sholi, whose expression was drastically changing before he parted his lips and smiled. Promptly, with a jerk of his arm, green dragon light symbols emerged. Following which, together with a wild and violent force, the lightning emperor scepter in his hands ruthlessly struck on the hole that was eroded on the demon shark scale skin. Bang! A deafening low sound reverberated across the mountaintop. Sholi's body flew backwards. After which, he spat out a mouthful of blood and landed heavily onto the ground. His body left a 100-meter-long deep ditch on the ground before it was implanted between a huge rock. His appearance was exceptionally tragic. This video will end here.